Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Alliance live show number 34. I am super stoked to try to unlock my Ray here. I haven't had a chance to do that yet.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the
every
Alliance
time
live show.
Anyway, I'm looking forward to getting Ray, and I have been waiting to do this for the live show, so I'm definitely excited to get this done. I'm your host, Ramon Azab, aka Remon with the Alliance. I'm joined by good old Maurice. What's going on, bud?
How's it going, man?
Pretty good. Pretty good. I'm excited. There's a lot to talk about. I did go see the Last Jedi. I'm super excited about talking about that. I have some mixed feelings about it, but we'll get into that a little bit later. I don't want to do any spoiler talk, so we won't really discuss anything. I know a bunch of people probably haven't had a chance to see it yet, so I'm not going to mention really any details. I'm just going to kind of give you my feelings about it a little bit. But before we get there, did you unlock Ray? And what do you think about her so far?
I did, and I mean, she looks good on paper. My Ray is, I think, gear 8. I don't have any Zetas to give her for the, I have 0 Zetas. So I'm just kind of taking it slow, and no real need to rush and gear her if I don't have the Zetas. So, it also kind of gives me an opportunity to see how other people are using her, and, if it's something feasible I can build myself. So it'll be good. I'll kind of learn her slowly as I get her amped up a little bit. She looks cool. She looks very, very good. I don't know if she's, a top, 3 character in the game. I don't know yet. We'll see. But
well, I mean, we're gonna get a chance to see later. We're gonna, of course, take a look at the meta report and see, where she lands on the scale today, and we'll just kind of discuss that a little bit. Again, I'm looking forward to unlocking her myself. Here on screen, we're just looking at, again, some footage, again, courtesy of EA, of her prior to the release. So just taking a look at, her against the First Order team here. It's very fitting considering the movie and all that. So I figured, why not, while we discuss this, and also the most recent content update that happened, pretty much right after our stream there the other day, or last week. Sorry, we had the Ray's Hero's Journey event, of course. From being a scavenger on Jakku to the destruction of Starkiller Base, battle through the iconic moments of Ray's Hero's Journey. We're going to do that here in a few minutes, and then there were some changes. I believe they added 2 new maps too. So we got Riot Control, Stormtrooper, and then Starkiller Base. The forest, so we're actually get that scene there from the end of The Force Awakens, which is pretty cool. I'm assuming that's going to be in the hero's journey too. So they added a couple of characters to Chromiums. They added, let's see here, Unmasked Kylo and First Order Special Forces TIE Fighter. That's pretty awesome. And at the end here, it says what's ahead is who's in command here. Only has to look. What do you think that means? Do you think that has any meaning? Are there any are there any rumors about what that could mean?
I don't know, man. I'm so bad. Like, if I can't just plug it into the Google and get the wiki page pull up, I'm really bad at making these predictions. I've been way off in the past. So
yeah, I don't know.
I really have no idea.
Maybe a new capital ship. I don't know. Anyway, I'm probably totally way off base, but there's a whole bunch of new packs. The new Darkside starter bundle. I think we talked about that last week. That's a great deal. That new Darkside starter bundle. If you're a new player and you didn't buy the Darkside starter pack, you should definitely do that. So I'm also working on my Wampa. I've got my Wampa up to, I'm at 65 shards right now, so I'm going to have that unlocked probably here in a couple of weeks. I'm looking forward to having him leveled up. Now, as far as the update notes are concerned, that's pretty much it. There really isn't much else that's come out besides, the film itself. Now, before we get started on the Ray's Hero's Journey itself, I just want to discuss a little bit about the movie. I don't know who else has a chance to see it to this point. I mean, again, I think it's a great movie overall. It was really, really exciting to really see, of course, a new saga film. Also, get to see Luke Skywalker in action. Some of the choices that I think they made were really awesome and cool, and there were definitely some awesome like visual effects and fight scenes in the movie that were just fantastic. But there were also some choices that were made to just that just I felt like I didn't really agree with either. So I kind of like have a mixed feeling about it. While I'm like super excited that I got to see the movie and there were really awesome parts to it, there were certain things that I think got left out that I wish were a part of the film. So I mean, maybe we'll talk about it in a little bit more detail next week or the week after more people have had a chance to see it, and I can kind of share my feelings a little bit more about some of the things that I didn't like about it and some of the things that I did like about it. But we'll get into that another time. So now I also got a chance to take a look at Warriors video a little bit earlier today about Ray Jedi training, and one of the good options for her in arena. Did you get a chance to look at that video, Maurice? Did you get a chance to see it?
I didn't get. I watched the Jedi Academy this morning, and they touched on it, but I didn't really get to watch his actual video. But the team he was talking about, a couple guys have tried on my arena, and
is it
the first time I went in against it, I lost. But it's super susceptible. It's game of rock paper scissors. It can be beaten. It's not difficult to beat, but you do have to put in some key tunes. Like an AOE dispel helps to shake all those taunts. Even like a hybrid trooper team, an Imperial trooper team. This is another team they can take down, especially if you put in like a TIE fighter pilot to do all the buff immunity, so the tanks can't taunt. It's beatable.
Okay.
It's a very good team though. Very, very good team.
So here we go. We're going to go in and try to get Ray here, and I'm going to go through the first part of the event. Yeah, I mean, I think that it could be a good team to mess around with. The reason I was kind of interested in is because I actually happen to have all those characters pretty well leveled up, so I think I can handle putting that team out there pretty soon. I could probably have that team ready, pretty much ASAP. But I'm sure there'll be a better combination that people come up with here in the next few days or few weeks. Okay, let's go into this first part here of the event. So, was the first part or the first parts of this event pretty easy, or is this auto sauce?
Well, how much? I mean, if you're about to do it for the first time, how much do you want to know? Like, the event it's not difficult. I'm fairly confident in saying that you can a Gear 7 Han and a Gear 8 Chewie is plenty to do it, and I mean, I guess my Finn and Ray and BB-8 are all Gear 11 plus. So of course, I mean, they were plenty. I mean, you're going to want Ray and Finn probably Gear 9 on Finn is plenty. Maybe even Gear 8. BB-8 probably Gear 8, Gear 9. Ray, if you have to have anyone geared up, it is probably going to be Ray, just so she survives. It's hard to say because mine were over geared. Those three characters, the three you're using now.
These shield stormtroopers, those have not been in the game. That's pretty cool. Okay.
Yeah, and they're cool looking characters, but they kind of make this event. I mean, it's a once in a lifetime. You're gonna do it one time, so I understand it. It took me about 15 to 20 minutes to get through it all.
I'm liking the extra crystals too. The extra crystals are really awesome. That's what I always love about these legendary character events. They always give you a ton of crystals and a ton of credits with the character shards too. So it helps you out a lot, especially with gearing up the character and things like that. So, all right.
Well, these heroes journeys, you get to actually keep the credits. You just have to unlock Ray and CLS. I think it's just I guess we'll see if you get through it. I think it's just like 100 credits to unlock her at 7-star. But we're at like Yoda and Palpatine and Thrawn. You get them at 5 stars, and you got to spend the 500,000 credits they give you at the 6th tier to take them to 6, and then the 1 million at 7 to take them to 7. So they basically just give you enough credits to level them up. But here you actually get to bank them, which is kind of nice.
That is pretty nice,
especially now that we're at TW, man. Like you really gotta start budgeting crystals between your characters, developing your characters, and you also want max 5-dot mods on all of your characters. So. And that gets pricey, taking those mods up. 480,000 a clip for each 5-dot mod. That really adds up.
Absolutely. No, I mean, Yeah, sure. There's a lot of cost to everything in this game now. I mean, obviously the credits are a lot more plentiful than they were in the past. So we have the credit heists all the time, and things like that. But sure, I mean, you can get through them real fast. I mean, I definitely still have some use for credits. Especially with mods. I mean, you're definitely going to use. You can use 10 million credits just leveling up a couple of characters with mods. I mean, you can run through it real quick without even really thinking about it. But yeah, I mean, that's the main thing that really separates any teams really in arena is the mods right now. I would say the uh, the main thing that would make that team better is going to always be like, let's say you were talking before about having a couple of guys on your shard that have the Ray team. I think that obviously if they had faster mods maybe than the other character, they're still going to be better. Mods are always going to be the defining factor in this game right now in arena, especially until they make some sort of change to the mechanics of arena and kind of change up the meta a little bit. And I don't know if that's in the plans for the near future or down the road, but I'm definitely looking forward to whenever we can try out some different things in arena and also have some of the characters that that should be dominant maybe get an increase in viability, like maybe Mace Windu, some of the characters that haven't seen some love in a long time. All right, so we're getting done here with the second tier. That was pretty easy. Is that like the only time I'm going to need the smugglers too? Like just that like one part? Is that it?
I do. Don't quote me, but I feel like that's the only time you need Han, which is kind of a crock. They make you have a 7-star Han
No, I
to
need.
use in like the second tier of the event.
No, I need them for this part too. So okay, so I mean that's at least
Okay, excuse me.
for part three you need them both. But yeah, that would be funny. I hope these shielded stormtroopers make it into the game. They look really cool. I mean I feel like they're in another game, maybe Battlefront. Or am I what other game have I seen these characters in?
It could be, and I'm personally really shocked they didn't bring any sort of Inferno Squad kind of like cross-platform advertising, for their Battlefront. Yeah, I'm really really shocked that we don't have the Inferno Squad in this game, just because I mean it's an EA game. Battlefront is.
Well, I'm
So
sure.
it's
I'm sure we're gonna get Iden Versio at some point. We're gonna get maybe some of these other Inferno Squad members with her. We'll get. We're definitely going to get Iden Versio for sure. I mean, without a doubt. I mean, I'm sure she'll be maybe a marquee character or something like that. I'm just looking forward to getting Kylo unmasked. You know, I want him to be. I can't wait till he goes free to play so I can start farming that character. I hope he's not. I hope they don't put him in. I hope they don't put him in a hard mode.
awesome.
He's
and,
got.
and that's why I'm not like Ray's awesome. I'm excited about her. I think she's a great character. It's just I've already kind of mentally committed to doing the First Order next, so I needed the Zeta for the unmasked Kylo, First Order TIE pilot, and possibly First Order Stormtrooper. So that's 3 Zetas right there. I need. So it's either do one character or do an entire faction that gets boosts in territory wars. So it's a tough call.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I agree. It's just as far as uh, these characters are concerned, I think that we definitely have to look at. I mean, I also want to level up these smugglers too at some point. I feel like Chewie and Han could be really good additions for territory battles and also for maybe even arena at some point if you put together like a good scoundrel team.
Yeah,
I wish they also had the.
I'd love to do them, man. It's just there's so much, and they're not required for anything besides this. And I just have a hard time investing gear in them when I need to work on my Veers, my Snow Trooper, my entire Empire faction. The Sith even. I think I'm going to roll with Night Sisters and First Order as my non-Empire teams. I don't think I'm even going to fool with the Sith. I missed that train a long time ago. So
I wish they allowed. I wish they had given them the rebel tag also. That would be awesome. They should have had the rebel tag for sure. Okay, so now we're at the fourth tier of the event, and again, it requires Smuggler Chewie. So I guess I got. I guess we're gonna get the value out of them eventually, so it doesn't matter. But you're right. There definitely are a lot of waves in this event. I mean, there's one of five here in this one, and this is just tier four. So this is definitely going to take at least like 20, 25 minutes. I like the backgrounds. I mean, it looks like you're like on new maps here, like I haven't seen.
yeah, your attitude might change about those shielded stormtroopers come P5. They're super annoying.
They get really annoying. Yeah. Like, you know where they're in? They're in Disney Infinity.
Could be. Somebody in the chat, I think it was Thane, said that they're in the Battlefront as well.
Yeah, they're in Disney Infinity. I play that game, and with my son, and it's always there's always those characters. You can like go into like a map and just like drop a whole bunch of stormtroopers, and just have like a big fight against like 100 stormtroopers. And those are the guys that I always throw out there. They kind of like it's the same guy who fought like Finn in The Force Awakens with that like it's like a laser baton. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, I could see what you're saying though. They definitely get annoying here, but.
Protection up.
Oh, I think the next phase or the next tier is probably going to be a lot more annoying, and maybe, maybe I won't be able to get it done. Who knows? I hope I have enough gear on these guys, because I didn't really level up the smugglers too much. I mean, they're only gear 8 each of them, I think.
Well, the one thing I feel like the devs do a good job. These events they're unique. You do them once, but they do a little. There's like a little. You remember like the CLS? There's like a little story element to it, which is cool. But they make the characters. The mode itself is not difficult. So all you have to do is get the 7-star characters, put a minimal amount of gear on them, and you can get through it. Get your character, and neither Ray nor CLS. They're not difficult to gear at all, either one of them. So, I mean, they kind of reward you in that sense. Like, hey, you put in all the work to get these characters, and in this case, to get these characters very, very quickly. So, you've done the work, so here's the prize, and the prize isn't going to take you, 4 months to gear up, like a Kenobi or like a Zeb, or like a Kanan, like those type characters. I mean, there's guys on my chart already got a gear 12, just like had her gear 12 in a couple hours. So.
Oh, sure. I mean, yeah, people. Again, she's going to be a major character in this game. I mean, she's huge, like Luke. I mean, she's going to be used probably just as frequently or just as much as Luke, or at least in the ballpark there at some point here, very soon. I'm sure as more people get her. I mean, right now Luke is very accessible. He was a little bit easier to attain character requirement wise, right? Like what was his requirements again? Was it just Leia, Old Ben? It was Han Solo, right?
Yeah. Farm Boy, Stormtrooper Han, Leia, Old Ben, and it was R2D2.
Right.
I believe it was.
Yeah, so you had to have a couple of legendary characters. You had to have at least. That's still pretty difficult. I mean, if you're a newer player, you're not going to have Han Solo yet necessarily, and you're not going to have R2D2 either. So that can definitely be something that's tough to get. But okay, let's see what happens here. This is the part you were talking about, I think.
Yeah, here it goes. Protection up.
Protection up. Yeah, it's happening right now. And they're destroying my my Chewie here. No. All right, let's.
Scott Walters in the chat says, "I'm standing my Zetas. Jedi training Rey is underwhelming. I don't think she's underwhelming. I just don't. She's been out one day. I don't think like the team we were talking about earlier, Worst team is a very very good team, but and he's figured that out and posted about it the first day. So who knows what him or anyone can come up with in the next week, 2 weeks, 2 months, just a completely different team. And then you might change your tune a little bit. Save the Zetas, but don't sleep on her yet. Like don't. She's not quite as flashy as I was hoping. The damage is underwhelming, but she is a tank, so you really can't expect too much from her. You see that buff of hers with a 100% damage if all the cards fall in your favor, and even then it still has.
There's somebody in the chat like doing like talking about spoilers for the movie. Just tell that guy or just block that guy.
Block him.
I don't know. I mean,
Block.
I don't want to at least delete the message.
No, blocked. Sorry, MLG Dodge 87.
Yeah, sorry about that, but yeah, you can't.
I'll watch it. I'll watch the chat. I wasn't paying much attention.
There's Unmasked Kylo. Okay. All right, so it's going to be Rey and Finn versus Kylo. This is pretty cool. All right, let's see what happens here. This map is pretty awesome looking. That's pretty sweet. Yeah, all the snow and stuff. All right. It's kind of weird because he doesn't have the same posture as Kylo Unmasked. He has like the posture of like the original Kylo. It looks like he has the same moveset as the original Kylo, but it is Kylo Unmasked.
Well, yeah, he doesn't have the scar yet.
Right.
You know what I mean? He doesn't have the scar down his face. He's got the yeah. Yeah, it's basically just the old Kylo we had without the mask. Like he's got the same moveset and everything it looks like. With the buff with the healing immunity on the basic and the big protection swipe.
Oh, it like actually happens like that? They make it happen so that Finn is dead and then like he has to like beat Rey? Oh, that's crazy. You can't beat him. You're supposed to lose this part. Oh wait. Okay. They have that extra ability like in the old in the hero's journey for Luke here. So I gotta press this button here and that's where she'll get the lightsaber, I guess. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
I was gonna say, but don't mess around too much longer. You're gonna lose. I have to do this all over again.
That's awesome. Okay. It's like you don't really when that happened last time too. I wasn't looking, and you don't really notice that extra button there.
No, and we a bunch of us were in the chat last night. We all stayed up super late like a bunch of dorks just to unlock a character that we could have easily woken up today and done. We stayed up late, got it done, and the people in the chat were like, "I can't beat this. What's going? Oh, look at this lightsaber ability."
Yeah, I know. All right, let's see here. All right, she's got like 2 abilities here. This is like a different Rey too. Okay, so let's see what happens here. This is pretty cool.
This one looks a lot like the one you actually fight in the PvE content. There's some, light side, dark side battle that you fight a lightsaber Rey.
Yeah, she's Rey Starkiller base you're talking about.
Yeah.
All right. Kylo's down. I did it.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm super excited. Okay, so we got Rey Jedi training, and that's pretty awesome. Okay, now let's get out of here. We're gonna go ahead and unlock her.
Yeah, if you've got a couple sets of syringes handy, you might be able to take her all the way up to Gear 8 just right away. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, again, I think that she's definitely going to be a great character overall because she adds a lot of versatility. She's got a lot of she's a pretty well balanced character. Again, she's not quite as hard of an attacker, I'd say, as Luke Skywalker, but she's definitely got a lot of cool abilities, and she's definitely a good synergy with the Resistance. But I think that she'll also find a home in some other team, based upon the way things work out in this game. She'll probably eventually be really good. Let's say with some other squad or some other faction or some sort of mixed team, maybe behind a Rex lead or something like that. I don't know, but
Ooh, Rex lead is interesting.
yeah, that's
You
something.
said it. Balance is a good word. She's very balanced. I think unfortunately they set the precedent with CLS. Like I think that's why people are underwhelmed is because she's not as just game breaking as CLS. Well, yet anyway, nobody's figured it out yet. But they kind of gave us CLS first in these heroes journeys. Just every arena team you see, in TW, like just CLS, CLS, CLS. And this one, she's very balanced, and if you put the right pieces around her, she's a monster. Obviously you want to use BB-8 with her. She's got a ability that, she gets 8% turn meter every time somebody gets secret intel, and you can't do that without BB-8. That'd be interesting. I fooled around with her a little bit in the GW, just trying it out with different little resistance teams. I don't have any Zetas on her, so
I have 2 Zetas for her, so I'm ready to go. I'm ready to Zeta Ray up.
I'm not exactly. I haven't made my final decision on what she needs mod wise. My initial reaction, is speed set, crit chance set. But that could be wrong. I'm not too sure. For a tank, 140 base speed is pretty stout for a tank.
You may want to give her.
It's just weird. She doesn't get much speed from her actual gear. I think she only gets 20 speed. I think she starts at 120 base speed. So 20 speed she gets from all the gear, all the way max gear.
I'm feeling like a speed. I'm feeling like a speed set and like a potency set. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe. I could also be totally crazy. But I'm just thinking potency wise for that mind tricks, right? Because she has to stick that, and she also sticks healing immunity. Is that 100%, or that can be resisted, right?
I don't know, man. Just when you upgrade her ability, check it out. Like, I'm not sure if it can or not.
We'll see. I've been saving gear, so I should be able to get her up pretty high. We'll see.
Somebody in the chat said she needs 80 MK4 keypads. That's true. She takes a lot of the little white and green gear, that you craft scanners with. She takes a lot of those single pieces. I had to farm some of that up to get her there. But besides that, she didn't seem difficult at all. I stalled out on some syringes because I just dumped, 400 of them into Zam and Greedo for the bounty hunter missions.
I always feel like these drop rates are rigged. Like when you need the piece, like they always make it more difficult for you to get these pieces. Like that should be one I just pull. Like you should be able to get like 3 of those for one pull. Okay, let's see here. So we're about to get to gear 7. Okay, I have all those. I just need one of these.
Yeah, it looks like you're going to need the scanner pieces that I was talking about. That. No, just kidding. Ugh, MK5 blue balls. Where I don't even know what those are. Oh snap.
Okay, so I'm at gear 7. Got the hair dryers. I got Jedi Comlink. I got this. Okay, I need an MK6 Nubian scanner. I just need one of these pieces here. That's pretty simple.
Wow, you got tons of syringes, man. I had 0. That's nuts. Yeah, those MK7, the data pads there are the ones I have trouble keeping up with.
I've been hoarding gear for her for a little while because I didn't, obviously we don't know what she's going to need, but I just kind of hoarded a little bit of everything. Um, I've also got some crystals, so I'm probably going to do some characters to gear 12 here pretty soon. Not today, but I'm going to probably buy some gear here and also work on some of the dark side characters because I got to work a little bit on that for dark side territory battles. I almost have Stark to 6 stars now, so I mean he'll be 6 stars. He'll be ready to get that special mission, but I heard it's pretty difficult anyway, so I don't know. I'll have to see if I can do it. Okay, so I can get her to the next level here, it looks like. So I can get her to gear.
Yeah, a couple guys in the chat. Mo Dingo says Mobile and Arnold showed her getting beat for beating his current meta team, but also lost once too. Zach says she really doesn't need speed. She gains tons of passive turn meter. Just stack offense. That's also a good suggestion. You just got all sorts of gear, huh?
Yeah, man. But
now
I'm
at that holo projector. You must have just done Yoda, yeah?
No, I did. I used a holo projector on BB-8 actually.
Yeah.
But I need.
Somebody in the chat earlier suggested don't put both on Ray. Put one on Ray and then one on BB-8. I guess his ability that makes a resistance. I think it's assist. I don't have it on mine.
Okay, let's see here.
There's your Carboni. There's your holo projector. Look at that.
That's not the holo projector though. That's MK3 holo projector for 600 crystals. It's you get 2 of them for 600. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Yeah, they do 2 packs of them on occasion now.
Oh, that's that's awesome. Okay, that is exactly what I'm looking for. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we will get. Where is she now? Oh, there's also achievements. That's right. You get to unlock these achievements here. So I'm going to get, for completing tier 1 of the Ray's Hero's Journey, you get 50 crystals and 250 credits, 250k credits. Reunite with Ray's friends at Starkiller Base, 50 crystals and 250k credits. And then unlock Ray Jedi Training, you get 100 crystals and a full MK6 Nubian design tech. That's a raid piece. That's pretty awesome.
I think. Yeah, oh yeah. I want to say you need 2 of them. That she takes 2 of them to get to gear 11, maybe.
Well, I have
gear 12.
I have 1 of them, so I mean maybe that'll be enough to get her there.
That's helpful.
Where is she now? Let's see.
Like an idiot, I threw mine right on Veers. I just want to get Veers and Snowtrooper done.
There she is. Okay, so we have that done. And this, she still needs some stun guns. Do they have any here? Oh, they do. Okay, so I can buy those. That's cool. Alright, so that should be enough to get her to the next gear level here.
Well, you lucked out on these shipments, just getting everything you need and just randomly.
Right, in one shipments. Normally, it's a lot more complicated than that. That's pretty awesome. All right, let's see here. I'm probably still going to need a Carbonti for the next gear level or something like that, though. So I'm probably going to end up having to refresh the shipments if I want to get her any further. But I also happen to have a ton of energy saved up for this too. I saved up about 1,000 energy almost, so I could farm gear if I needed to. Like these small pieces, I knew there were going to be a ton of this stuff. There was going to be a ton of this stuff. Okay, so we got her to the next level now. Another MK5 furnace, stun cuffs, a hypo syringe, Nubian tech. We have Two of them we can use. Another Nubian tech. Okay, this is pretty awesome. And what's the last piece here? Oh, okay. That's pretty sweet.
I'm just going to casually take her all the way up to gear 11, just with my inventory and 3 plucks out of the shipments.
Yeah. Okay, so she's up to gear 11 now. And then I have the MK7 here for this. I have the MK4 hollow projector. I have the biotech implant. An MK5 Chihuahua syringe. Really?
But you can buy those from the guild store for $12.19. The full 20-pack.
Like that's
if you got some guild currency.
Mm-hmm.
Like the where you buy gin or so from, and like low grade where their shards are, the guild store, like they've got fully crafted MK5s in there for $12.19, or they did prior to the update they did where they put all the gear in there. Then they got those. They've got those MK back to gels that give some speed. Hell, you only need 5 of them. You probably just farm that with your 693 energy will get you 5 of those.
Let me see. They're in the guild event store, so I'm wondering what that could possibly cost. What 220?
$12.19 all 20. Oh, but K. says he hasn't seen the $12.19 full pieces in a while. Yeah, he's right. There's 5 for you right there, but I would farm for it, man. You only got $16.50. Oh, that's the new store. I wouldn't get them out of the new store.
Yeah. No, we're not doing that.
Nah. Yeah, you got 693 energy. I think you can plug 5 of those.
Yeah, you're pretty spot on. Okay, let's see. Let's do this 5 at a time until we get them. So we got 2. Okay. There we go. All right, I'm not going to be able to get her to gear 12, unfortunately, but I will get her to gear 11 with the hope of getting her to gear 12 here in a couple of days. I need an MK6 stun gun, so that's going to be a lot of health, and that's going to be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that. So what do you need for this? You need the stun guns, you need the back to gel, and you need a biotech implant too. I've got $22.50 for that.
We got to think, man. We get the strength challenge that drops the carbonates today and also the next day. So you'll pull, you should pull at least 38 carbonates out of that. So might save you a little bit of crystals there.
Okay, get these. I don't need those. Okay, let me just do a refresh here. Let's see what pops up. Okay, we got some more carbonates here. Okay, let me go back.
Who'd you guys get paired up with this week for the territory wars? Who'd you guys get this week?
We're doing Wallet Warriors, I think, next.
Okay.
We ended up getting a tie, which was kind of discouraging because we did, pretty well in the original, on our side. We put up some pretty good defenses. They came down to really the last 5-10 minutes. I think with like 8 minutes left, they finally beat our last team. So, we could have done. We did pretty well. It would have been nice to get a win instead of a tie, but the way it's set up now, it's pretty pretty conducive for a tie. Okay, so let's see here. I need some more Carbantes. What's this? This is the MK8 biotech implant. Okay, so I can just get that whole piece, but I don't want to spend 2,000 crystals for the whole biotech implant, right? Because you get a ton of those. But how much would it
No,
be?
no, no. You're looking for the 375 crystal 25 packs of the black portion. That you don't need the, because the strength challenge gives you the like the one with the actual picture in it,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to farm for the ones that are just like a black implant. But you can buy them. It costs you there. See like that med pack there. There's a ball just like it. It's 375 for 25. 750 for a 50 piece is a good deal. All the black prototypes for those implants are like that, and the MK5 thermal detonators are like that. Just good value pieces for crystals.
Okay, so I'm just going to buy these pieces here at the bottom. I think I forgot to do that with the last set too, but buy what you can buy with credits. I'll do one more refresh to see if we can get the biotech implant pieces, and then if not, we'll just leave it as is. I still need more of these. Yeah, but I think
I like how you bought the MK5 laptops. I like that.
You like that?
Just in case you ever need, like, I don't know, 6,500 of them. You're golden.
Yeah. I don't think I'm going to get those biotech. Okay, I got 25 of them here for 375. And let's see.
I mean, you got a good chance of them popping up in the next, 2 or 3 refreshes just naturally. I don't think getting your rated gear 12 like 6 hours earlier is really going to warrant refreshing the shipments for 100 crystals.
No, I'm just going to wait after that. I mean, it doesn't make sense to go bananas at this point. The 100 crystals I could use for like a cantina refresh or something like that. I'd rather get mods with it or something like that than use it on a refresh. That doesn't make sense. I'll just keep her at gear 11 for right now. We'll play around with her for a little bit. We're going to jump into the meta report here in a minute anyway, and then we're going to do our top 5 this week, which is top 5 Omega abilities, courtesy of the Alliance and good old Maurice. I'm just going to level up her abilities here now. Okay, so I have I have Omegas for this, so I'm just going to Omega that. Okay. Now, getting her to gear 11 on the first night's not bad.
No, not at all, man.
Yeah. I mean, gear 12 is definitely, coming, but I think that, I definitely saved up a lot of gear for her. So, I mean, I was definitely prepared. I mean, I had a couple of, guys I wanted to level up, but I thought to myself, like, let me just, before I do any, gearing up of other characters, let me just make sure I don't need them for Rey, because we didn't really know what we're going to be expecting. We didn't even know her speed until, she actually dropped in our inventory. So you don't really know any of the statistics and, what gear, of course. So you try to save up all different types. So these last 3 abilities are the ones with the Zetas then. What do you think are the most ideal Zetas to have for her? If you had to pick 2 of the Zetas for her, which would you say are the 2 best?
Well, I guess it depends. If you're still at the point in the game where you're having to pull like characters like Fulcrum and Shroot and stuff like that out of the like the fleet shipments, then I don't know. You don't have the currency to get all the Zetas. I don't know. I like that Insight a lot. I guess it's the last one. Is that the one you're looking at now here? The Insight one's good. Her leader is obviously good, but if you're, that's why if you're still pulling characters out of the fleet store and you already have a Finn Zeta, Finn Zeta can beat everything in the game currently, like from a PvE standpoint. So you're kind of golden there. Good for the raids. I mean, great for the raids, like S plus tier for the raids. Fantastic in TW. Can burn through 6-6 any missions in light side. So I don't think her leader is fun, and it's a very good lead. It's just if you already have Finn, you have a serviceable one until you can build those Zetas. That would actually probably be the last one I did if you're a newer player and already have Finn. Insight's the one I like. She gets 5% health and protection back. But she has, like, what I'm going to do personally, as I slowly build her, I'll get one Zeta, I'll put it on Insight, and then I'll run her under an old bin lead for the time being, just to really make her borderline indestructible.
Yeah, I think Insight is definitely one I'm going to do like right now.
Yeah, that one is very good. Yeah, I'm gonna run her under an old bin lead, and once I get maybe another Zeta, I would put it on her leader, and then maybe do the other one. Somebody mentioned in the chat to Zeta BB-8 as well. I think that's also very, very key Zeta to have for any team, because while there's not, I don't know, there's definitely synergy between the two of them, much like Finn and Poe, Base Root and Wedge Biggs. There's synergy between those two characters, so you're probably going to want to use both in any team comp.
Yeah, I think BB-8 Zeta is probably going to be important for her too. Do you have a Zeta on BB-8?
No. I mean, hell, until she came out, there was absolutely no reason to do it, really. Because again, like BB-8 without the Zetas is plenty good enough to clear any sort of PvE content. It's a cool Zeta. It's helpful, but it's not required. Like, you don't need to have it in the past. You didn't need to have it to increase your to solo P4 to get 6-6 in your light side territory battles.
That's right. Carboni challenge today. Okay, so we got Carboni's there.
Well, and tomorrow, so
it's pretty awesome. Okay, so
I've been playing this game for 2 years, and I've yet to get a 6 or a 7 on any Carboni syringe or anything like that out of the challenges. It says it's an option, but I've never seen it. I think I saw a screenshot of somebody in my guild getting like the max one time in 2 years.
Well, I still have a ton of energy. First, let me just do these. Actually, you know what? No, forget it. Let's go take a look here. The thing with the biotech implants, though, is they're just such a their drop rate is so bad. Oh, I only need 3. We're good. That's not bad. Okay, we'll get 3.
Yeah, the chat's really digging the BB-8 Zeta. Sir Loki, what's up, man? Just popped in and said, yeah, I had Zeta per lead in BB-8.
What's going on, Sir Loki? All right, let's see here. So now that should, yes, Gear 12 Ray. Nice. All right. Awesome. Gear 12 Zeta Ray, first night. Sweet. I didn't have to refresh. I was able to just kind of like manipulate it a little bit, just kind of finagle it.
Hey, while you're at it, why don't you just go ahead and toss those Gear 12 pieces on her? Just kidding. Don't do that yet.
I don't think so, yeah. I mean, 1,500 health is pretty sweet, and 110 strength with armor is also pretty nice.
Well, you're definitely, yeah, those are some good pieces on her. That bayonet and the multi-tool, real good pieces.
I should probably just throw them on her. Just go crazy.
I don't know, man. I'd save that piece. You might want to put that piece on Kenobi first.
Yeah.
Like, look at all those characters you have that need that multi-tool. You might sleep on that one. Don't just sleep on that, because those aren't very, like, those don't just drop. Like, you don't get those too easily.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm gonna get her modded up here in a few. Try her out in a little bit, but first, before we do that, let's get into the meta report and talk about that, and then do the top 5. But we'll definitely do some battles with her here in a few minutes. All right, now first
you can kind of mod her up and stuff, fool around with her. I'll do the top 5. You can kind of do that in the background if you want, man.
Well, the top five also is visual here too. So,
Oh yes,
um,
yes, in my face. You're right.
so now we have the top 10 leaders at rank one. And the reason this is really interesting today is actually because Ray is now in the top 10 leaders at rank one. So we have her as the fourth best leader behind CLS, who is half the pie, literally almost exactly half the pie. But what do you think about Ray kind of taking a chunk of the pie there? I mean, she's ahead of Mother Towson now. She's
In
ahead
one day.
in one day. You know, what do you think?
uh, I think she will. A lot of it's excitement, people getting her in there and trying her out. But I think over time, she might. I don't know. She's not going to overtake CLS, no way. But she will. She'll pass Rex, and she might cut into Kenobi. It might be like a Luke Skywalker clear cut number one, then maybe a split number two with Kenobi and her.
You don't think she'll overtake
Um,
Kenobi? I think she'll overtake Kenobi. I think she'll eventually be right behind Luke. That's what I think. I think she's that good. I just think, like I said, I just think people have to find the proper applications. But
yeah.
Wedge, Asajj Ventress is up there too. Mother Towson, Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Oh, Asajj is climbing every week, man. It was like 12. You were like joking around, like, oh, Asajj made it. And then it's like last, it's 22. It was 40. Now she's up to 63. People are really starting to see the benefit of her Zeta. Just all around Zeta leader. She is. That's a very, very good investment, leader ability for the entire game. You can make it work in arena. It's 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 a boss in dark side territory battles. Guaranteed 6-6 or 4-4, I guess.
Yeah,
Real good for the raids. Just you can solo the Rancor with the Asajj lead. I mean, I know no one really cares about that. Most everyone has the Vader that they wish they could take the Zeta off of now, but she can solo the Rancor. She'll continue to grow too.
absolutely. All right, let's move to the top 10 squad members at rank one, and that is General Kenobi with R2D2 following him. So R2D2 has kind of surpassed Commander Luke as a squad member. Grand Admiral Thrawn, then Han Solo. The standard top five still applies here. But again, Jedi Ray right behind Darth Nihilus, coming in at number 6 in the top 10 squad members at rank 1. What do you think about Ray being in the top 10 squad members at rank 1, not as a leader?
Well, I think it was about 270 or so for the leader. So I mean, there's 60 people out there trying her. I guess behind probably a CLS or a Finn lead. Um, I don't know. That's interesting, actually.
Mother
I guess if you don't
Towson's
have the
up there.
Zeta to give her lead, you might as well use her as a support character, right?
Yeah.
So
Mother Towson's on there too. I think Mother Towson's going to be a pretty good support character too. I think she'll work well in a team, because of her. I like the plague. I like the. I mean, she's basically Palpatine without the stun.
oh,
So.
she's Palpatine on steroids. She's way better than Palpatine.
But I mean, she's got. I mean, if you look at it, I mean, like even if you, I mean, like her basic attack is basically Palpatine's basic attack. I mean, she has the area of effect attack, but instead of stun, she inflicts plague. And I mean, plague is, I mean, even though stunning is awesome, plague is a really awesome debuff. I mean, it's kind of like healing immunity and it also like health down. In one is that are you losing health? You're losing health every turn, right?
With plague,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Every time you start your turn, you lose 5% health per plague. So if you have, and that's why she's so great and you put that Omega on her basic. When she hits somebody with plague, she stacks another one on top, and then they go and pass it to the next person. All of a sudden, you got 3-4 plagues on a character. Every time they go, I mean, especially with these teams using Thrawn. Thrawn just kills characters because Thrawn sees the plagues on whoever has the most plagues or needs the protection and health the most. He'll speed them up and give them that turn meter protection. But when he speeds them up, they go and he basically kills them. I mean, I see Thrawn kill Kenobi almost every day, just by trying to get rid of the plague. They need to fix Thrawn's AI because it's awful against Towson. It's Thrawn is it's like 6-on-4. Thrawn's on your team. Just it's crazy how that works.
Yeah. But some interesting movement in the top 10. Again, some new faces. Hopefully, we'll see some more of Jedi Ray breaking into the top five here, or the top six. See her maybe pass Han Solo or Grand Admiral Thrawn here over the next few days, but we'll have to see.
But we will, dude. She's been out for what, 18 hours?
Yeah, right,
like
right.
a full day, one day.
It's kind of crazy
We'll
that she's even up
definitely
there.
see her
I mean, that's probably the fastest I've seen. That's faster than even R2D2 was, I think. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So,
absolutely. It's yes, without a doubt.
yeah. But that's the top 10 squad members and the meta report. So we're going to move on now to our top five. Excuse me. So for this week, we're doing top five Omegas. Again, it's top five Omega abilities, courtesy of the Alliance and good old Maurice, the Alliance live show here. We're going to go over the top five Omega abilities. Now, what is number five, Maurice? Where are we starting off here?
Well, number five, this was an extremely difficult top five to make. I think I started with like a list of damn near 30 Omega abilities and had to get to five. Number five, we're taking it back really, really old school. It's going to be Qui-Gon Jinn in his basic attack, Quick Strikes. You slap the Omega on there, and what it does, it instantly gives him a 65% chance to remove 30% turn meter. Which is, I mean, back in the day, he was the number one guy to use in the Rancor. Just because he had the turn meter manipulation, and he's very fast. So this one's kind of old school, and Qui-Gon hasn't made any of our lists, so I felt kind of obligated to get him in there.
Yeah, no, that's a great ability. Especially that was the first Zeta I did, because of the Rancor raid. It was great. I mean, sort of not first Zeta, first Omega I did, because I mean the turn meter reduction is fantastic. Obviously, he was always been a meta character ever since the beginning of the game. Qui-Gon Jinn is always somebody that you can trust is going to be somebody who's important. I mean, they even kept him up there as one of the first characters that they put a Zeta on as well. But he's kind of fallen a little bit to the wayside here as some more impressive characters have come out, like CLS and obviously Jedi Ray or Ray Jedi Training. But I'm sure he'll pop back up as a viable leader or a top player in the game again at some point. There's never a time where Qui-Gon Jinn is going to be completely gone. But
this list is what determines the characters that make this list are the difference the Omega makes from the level 7 ability to level 8. Like, there are going to be better abilities in the game than some of these, but this is just, I mean, the Omegas make the move what they are. Like, it's just a huge change.
Basically, you're saying that the Omega itself makes the character significantly better in some way.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. All right, so moving along to number four. Our number four
is an interesting one. It's going to be Leia in her Rebel Tactics move, the move that gives her stealth. Not too long ago, I think it was right before the CLS event, she got reworked, and she got turn meter. She gives herself 50% turn meter. She goes stealth. But what makes this ability so good is when you put the Omega on it, it reduces the cooldown by 1. So what she can do, is she can stealth while stealthed, and with this ability, it gives you 50% bonus when she's already stealth. So she basically gets a free turn to buff up and give herself offense up, the crit, all those goodies she gets, and it also gives her her buff duration, the crit chance up an extra round, and that helps a lot with like the P4 teams, like the clones. It just kind of guarantees everybody keeps the buff on their head. To resist that airstrike, and then also she herself gains foresight for 3 characters like B2. They'll go in there and try to dispel everybody. She'll shake that, the foresight will eat it, and she'll remain stealth, so she can do her stealth move again and keep those buffs. So it's very, very good, just all around Omega. And it's actually one I neglected because before they did the rework, it was just kind of silly just to stealth, because that was your whole turn. But now it gives you a 100% turn meter when you do it. So it's a very good, very, very good Omega, and mandatory if you plan on using her with the clones in P4. So
absolutely. Just take a look at the chat, Maurice. Number 4, I think with Princess Leia, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, she's got again a really great set of abilities altogether. But this Omega really made a big difference back when she first really started to see, or really was still a viable character in Arena at that time. Because you were able to continue to stay stealth from stealth to you could basically stealth yourself. While you were stealth, just like Maurice said. So I mean, the ability to continue to stay stealth throughout the battle, kept her, a survivor much longer. This is before the area of effect meta where you saw all the Landos and everything like that. That's kind of what killed Princess Leia, was the area of effect meta, because she couldn't hide anymore with the stealth. But I mean, she definitely was a very viable character for a long time because of this Omega ability. So definitely one of the better ones in the game. Now moving along to number 3, and this is a more current meta character at the moment. I believe.
Yes, indeed. It's going to be Mr. Our buddy Nihilus. And this Omega is going to be on his basic attack, just like Qui-Gon. And when you put the Omega on it, it basically, because Nihilus dispels with his basic. And on this Omega, if any buffs were dispelled, you reduce the cooldown of that Force Drain move. So if you can knock out, especially if you can go against like a tank, you get to knock out the taunt. And then on top of that, you get to reduce the move, the Force Drain move, which allows you to even further reduce the Annihilate. And that's, I mean, the key to all these Nihilus comps is, when Nihilus first came out, the meta was to protect the Nihilus comps. And the more Annihilates you get off, a lot of times he's the only DPS, and especially in territory wars, he is the DPS in these teams. So, I mean, the more Annihilates he gets off, the more deadly he is. So, this is a very good Omega. And you're probably going to Omega him out across the board anyway. One of his other Omegas on his Annihilate move, it prevents the enemy from being revived, which is super helpful versus all these new Night Sister teams. So he's just all across the board. If you're working on Nihilus, you want to go ahead and save all the Omegas for him, because that can really trick him out. He's a very, very good. He improves greatly with all his Omegas, even better than he is out of the box. So,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think this basic attack is definitely a great Omega as far as that goes. I mean, obviously, a great basic to have the ability to dispel with a basic attack. That means you can get called in for an assist and dispel. You can dispel, let's say, a character that has protection up, or a lot of different things. There's a very plethora of different reasons you could use this ability. Now the Omega, obviously reducing the cooldown on drain or drain force is huge, because the faster you get to annihilate, the better with a Darth Nihilus. So I mean, you want to get there as quick as possible. If you can get there in 3 turns, that's great. And this basic attack can help you get there. You just hope you're not facing another character that increases cooldowns, like maybe a Death Trooper or another Nihilus. And I think that's a cool ability in the game. I think that again, adding the ability to reduce cooldowns and mess around with the cooldown manipulation with other attacks is something that you're going to see a lot more of, and something they've applied more recently in these characters than they did in the past. So again, it's a great ability, absolutely. Ceaseless Cravings is number 3. What's number 2, Maurice? Where are we going next?
Number 2, we're going to Raid Han Solo.
Number 2 Omega ability in the game.
Yeah, that's going to be his quick draw. His quick draw, another basic. But this it gets 15% damage, 25% bonus damage, and it removes 35% turn meter if the target has 50% health or more. And you're seeing a lot of these teams just crushed, like P2, P3, P4. Some of these Akbar lead teams, and Han is a good piece for that because of that turn meter removal this Omega gives. The 15% damage, you're already stacking that on top of massive damage. So, I mean, 15% damage on Han Solo is way more DPS than if you do the Omega for like somebody like Barriss or Royal Guard that gives the 15% damage. Just more damage from an already really, really high DPS character, and adds turn meter removal. And 35% is a lot. You just have to kind of strategically use it and hit the targets with 50% or more turn meter. But it really makes him even better. Deadeye is also a good one there, as you see on the screen. That's another one. again, these will be another character. If you're going to gear up and go out on, you're going to want all the Omegas and that Zeta on him as well. So the quick draw is definitely one of the first Omegas you should put on your characters.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's a great ability. Again, the reduction of the turn meter is really huge, especially when you're trying to keep, let's say, a character like R2D2 from stealthing the entire team, or you're trying to keep Grand Admiral Thrawn from from fracturing, your tank or something like that. His ability to reduce the turn meter of the target is huge, and the bonus damage is great. You're getting plus 15 damage, plus 25% bonus damage, and he already hits really hard. So again, there are a lot of great Omega abilities. I mean, we're not trying to say that these are the only great Omega abilities. There's a ton that should be on this list as well, and they could be. It's really just up to opinion, and we had to choose 5, but I think that the ones that we did choose, really do make the character, or give the character a huge difference. This is a lot of damage, especially for that basic attack, and that's probably one of the best attacks in the game. I mean, especially now that Han Solo is so meta, he's so viable at the moment. I mean, you can use him in pretty much any squad. He hits so hard. He's one of the hardest attackers in the game. I mean, he's still a little squishy, but he can definitely hit really hard. And this ability here, obviously with the double tap now with the Zeta, with his ability to go twice with this basic attack, helps even more, because that's a double turn meter reduction as well. So definitely a huge ability, and a great overall Omega ability.
Oh yeah, man! If you catch a character with 90% turn meter, you're going to suck it all gone. Like, it's all gone. Just completely remove turn meter, or 70% of it anyway. And that's huge, especially like I was mentioning, that raid team. That P3. If you can catch that B2, I mean, Han could save you from, because it's a race against the clock, with that team, and he can really, like, if the B2's turn meter is getting up there and Han double taps and just sucks it all down, and you just pretty much prevent him from taking a turn.
Right.
So.
And the number 1 Omega ability.
Well, it's probably not going to be a huge surprise. It's going to be Commander Luke Skywalker is our number 1, and it's going to be on his Use the Force ability. This character is also another key component to that team I was just talking about, the raid. But what it does with the Use the Force, it is a dispel move, but you put the Omega on it. Not only do you dispel the opponent, but you remove 100% turn meter and then inflict buff immunity for 2 turns. And on top of that, even more, if the target has less than 100% health, you're going to reduce the cooldown of Use the Force by 1. That is, that's disgusting how good that Omega, and you get all that packaged up for just 5 Omega mats. That is something else. I was going through these, and I mean, that one I just went ahead and slotted right in the first place. I mean, that's huge. I mean, buff immunity and 100% turn meter that's unheard of in this game, and it's one of the reasons. It might be the reason he is just hands down the best character in the game. Is this Omega ability? So,
yeah, he's unbelievable. This ability is great. I mean, obviously, removing 100% turn meter, inflicting buff immunity for 2 turns, and reducing the cooldown of this ability by 1 if the target didn't have full health is, I mean, a crazy set of additions to an ability. I mean, again, you're taking 100% turn meter away now. You're inflicting buff immunity for 2 turns, and with the buff immunity and the also the coupled with the dispel of any buffs, I mean, it's just a huge bonus, because if you happen to reduce the turn meter of, let's say, a character like Baze Malbus, and on top of that, reduce his cooldowns, or for, let's say, example, somebody like Shore Trooper, who's going to taunt with his next attack. Now you're sticking buff immunity on the character. He's not going to be able to get taunt with his next attack. You're also reducing his turn meter, so he's not going to get the chance to give crit immunity to his team. Especially for pre-taunting characters like him, or like Sith Trooper, or Baze Malbus. I mean, a huge bonus. Character like General Kenobi, you can render General Kenobi almost useless for a little while if you couple that with, let's say, maybe a Death Trooper or a Darth Nihilus who increases Kenobi's cooldowns because now he has a debuff as well. So that's a great ability, great Omega, and I think Luke Skywalker definitely the best character in the game right now, hands down, without a doubt. So you're going to want to level up all of his Omegas for sure.
Well, his call to action move is also a top 5 Omega, but just, I mean, that's not very exciting if we just have Luke Skywalker there 2-3 times, on the top 5 list. So call to action is going to be 1B because he recovers, 40% protection.
Right.
That's silly.
That's just nuts.
But, just keep the list kind of semi-exciting at least. So.
Yeah, he's got a great set of abilities all around. I mean, there's really not anything you can look at on his skill sheet that doesn't really raise an eyebrow. Now he's really looking emo in this picture here too. You see, I happen to get a good snapshot of the guy where he just I don't know, he looks like really upset, But
yeah, I like how his uniform is like tightly pressed too, fresh off the ironing board.
Yeah, definitely.
Extra starch, please.
Extra starch. Yeah, no, he's great. But as usual, we also have an honorable mention. We actually this week have 2 honorable mentions. We're going to go ahead.
Yeah, we'll get through this pretty quickly. It's a little different. There's 2 honorable mentions, and both these are actual full characters. Their entire kits, all of their Omegas, just turn them into, in case of Acolyte here, turn her into a. Without the Omegas, she's borderline just worthless. But you slap those 3 Omegas on her, and she turns into a superstar. On her basic, it gives her a 15% stealth chance, and if Night Sister Acolyte has stealth, she attacks again. So it basically gives her a double tap. And she goes stealth every time she crits. So she's fairly easy to manipulate mod-wise, get her to stealth right out of the gate. She's stealth, and that's why she's so effective behind all the zombies. And just double tapping away. She's basically the dark side Leia, if you will. Her first special, it gives her an additional 10% turn meter gain, and then also this attack gains 20% critical damage for each Night Sister ally in each debuffed enemy. I run the Night Sisters, and I've seen this move get up into the 50,000s if all the cards fall correctly because of this Omega. And the last one she has is Thrill of Victory. It's her passive unique. She gains an additional 5% crit chance, but gives her 25 just crit chance just stacked right on top of her base automatically. And while Acolyte is stealth, she has 50% offense. So these 3 Omegas give her 50% offense, double tap, and just all sorts of stacking offense on that special. Just gives her tons of damage. Makes her, I would say almost an A character, like maybe an A- type character. All the Omegas turn her from C- to borderline B to an A- character. So if you're looking at the Night Sisters, you're going to want to go ahead and save 15 Omegas for her, definitely. And you do all 3. Death Trooper, already a great character, but his set of Omegas just turned him into just a monster. And why he is probably the go-to. He's going to be he's mandatory for dark side territory battles. There's really no way to say that otherwise. But his Omegas on his basic, what it does, let me pull it up here. Okay, if the target was dazed, right? So you get the chance to attack, and it's got his daze on his basic. But if the target is dazed already, you stun them, and we're in the middle of a CLS meta, and they're all rebels. So if the rebels, Death Trooper's can go twice, he can daze on the first hit and then immediately stun them on the second, which is pretty disgusting. That's incredible. Omega right there. And his grenade, his AoE grenade, the Dispel grenade, the Omega there adds enemies who are not buffed have their cooldowns reduced by 1. So you get a cooldown increaser, you get a double tap, possibly a daze and stun. The Terminate, his big hitter, if there are any defeated enemies, inflict death mark for 2 turns. What death mark does, real quickly, is basically like expose on steroids. It's just you do massive damage with that debuff above them anytime you do your basic, and then it also does the death mark damage on top. So even somebody like Barris can hit somebody for 20k with that death mark on there. That's all Omegas, but just turn him into a monster. He is he turns into quite the DPS character with all the Omegas. So these are two guys. If you start working on these guys, you want to have 15 Omegas in the bank for each of them. No questions asked.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, Death Trooper, I could speak for specifically. I have a Zeta on Death Trooper also, and I think he's.
If we did a top 10, it would be all Death Troopers Omegas, all Acolytes Omegas, and all of CLS Omegas. So
Yeah.
we just did it like this. So
Yeah, I mean the Omegas for Death Trooper are unbelievable. He's got, again, just a great set of abilities all around. But adding those Omegas just makes him, a step above. He gets the, he has the dispel with his AOE. He has the cool meter. Sorry, the cooldown increase with his AOE. He's got that ability to stun with his basic if somebody has daze, and also with that death mark. What's the Omega for the last ability for the death mark?
Oh, the death mark, the Omega for Terminated adds the death mark. Like you don't get death mark unless you Omega it.
Exactly. So you get death mark because of that, and death mark itself is just an amazing debuff, and it's basically like you said, like it's like expose on steroids. You basically can remove a character's health very quickly with a death mark. I mean, unless it gets it's a dispellable debuff, but unless it gets dispelled, I mean, you could take a character out with a ton of health and a ton of protection, really quickly. So overall, that's just a great ability, and again, a great Omega ability. But that wraps up the top 5 Omega abilities. Both of these characters very great. If you guys want, I'm going to put these in little snippets. During the week, I'll make videos of this. I already have one I'm working on to put out tomorrow, so I'll put the top 5 Zeta abilities for Dark Side Territory battles out tomorrow. Seeing that we're going to be having a Dark Side Territory battle starting next week, it's probably pretty fitting to put that out right away. So I'll put that one up tomorrow. But yeah, pretty great stuff. Let's go back into the game, and let's start getting together some questions too. If you guys want to have any questions asked on the stream, let's start putting those in the chat. If you guys want to have any topics you'd like to discuss, put them in the chat, and we'll try to discuss those here before the end of the stream. But yeah, I mean, again, I think that Rey Jedi Training is going to be a great character. I'm looking forward to getting her together with my BB-8. Unfortunately, my BB-8 is not quite as developed as he should be. I'm still at a Gear 9 BB-8, but let me try to get...
I think in your initial testing phase, you can get by with a Gear 9 BB-8, just to kind of test her out and see exactly what you want to do with her. BB-8 he's there for his tricks. He's not there to do any damage or, to really tank it up and eat damage, unless you're using like an all-droid team.
Yeah, I'll get
I think Gear 9 should be sufficient just to get a good feel for the team,
Yeah, I mean, and that's pretty much it. Everybody else is pretty much ready to go. I mean, I could also try her out with a full resistance team, but I'm thinking first let's just kind of go with that team.
Well, I believe the team Warrior was talking about. Correct me if I'm wrong, either you or the chat, but it was Rey lead, Old Ben, GK, BB-8, and R2.
Is that with a Zeta on Rey's lead though?
Yes. That's the team he was talking about. I'm looking on my server. I guess a lot of these guys saw that video because 3 or 4 of them having the top 10. So apparently it's a good team that holds pretty well. But I don't see too much variation. There's one under CLS lead, but it's just basically the CLS, just all the meta characters in a team. It's probably what it's going to end up being. Insert BB-8, insert Rey, BB-8, and 3 meta characters. But R2 is very interesting under a Zeta lead Rey because you don't really need Poe because R2 does your AoE exposes now because if he crits 5 times on his AoE, that's 70% chance across the board they're going to get exposed. So that's something to consider when you're building your teams. You have two options for an AOE exposed now with the resistance under her, and R2 and Poe. So
all I zated so far was just her. What was it? Insight. So now she, at the end of a turn, she gains a foresight. She always has foresight, basically. Okay, so now what I'm going to do here is use her Defiant Slash, which is deal physical damage to target enemy and inflict healing immunity for 2 turns. Target other resistance ally and dispel all their debuffs and call them to assist and grant them foresight for 2 turns. Okay, so I'll call in BB-8. And we're going to do the mind tricks with old Ben.
this is interesting because I mean I will get mine there eventually. It's just not a. I've got way too much going on, like farming wise and gearing wise. I've just stopped too many times and switched directions too many times the last couple months. I really got to buckle down and finish some stuff. I've gotten guys to gear 9, gear 10, just kind of get distracted, do something else. And it's a terrible way to play the game, but I've been doing it that way.
Yeah, no, listen, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. I understand. It's sometimes with priorities in this game, you have to kind of, determine to yourself, what makes sense. And I mean, it's going to be sometimes either selfish or for your guild. I mean, right, if you're sitting there thinking about, leveling up a character, sometimes I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, should I just hold off and, level up this character maybe, let's say, for dark side territory battles, or should I level up this character for my arena squad? And I think that again, a character like Ray, for example, you really don't have to think about. I mean, she's a character you're going to have to level up at some point, regardless. Obviously, if you have a project that you're working on currently, I would finish gearing that up first. If you're trying to, let's say, finish up some sort of dark side team or something like that. But again, a character like Ray, legendary character. This character you're going to probably at some point put the investment in regardless. So I don't see you really making any mistakes by putting gear into her or spending any time farming stuff for her either. So
but if you can't get her, don't freak out. The game is pretty much forcing your hand in doing these Imperial Troopers. And we just talked about Death Trooper. I mean, on paper they look to be a decent counter to this team you're running. With the days, and they get constant turn meter, all the buffs. You could use a TIE fighter pilot even and just AoE, just get them real quick out of the gate and just AoE buff immunity across the team and just completely knock out Ben and Kenobi for a turn or two. So I think these Imperial Troopers are going to be pretty valuable. I was kind of grumpy about having to farm them at first, but I see that they're a direct counter to the Night Sisters. Everyone talks about, Night Sisters are, top-notch defensive team. Yes, they are right now until everyone gets their Imperial Troopers up because, you have to have them for dark side. And then I think that will kind of slow down a little bit, and we'll have to and then, I don't know. I'm just looking at it, trying to think of counters because mine's not going to be ready for a while. So I'm a little jealous. I just sat here and watched you gear all the way up and pimp her out in 15 minutes. This is going to take me weeks.
Doesn't look like I'm going to win this first match here, though. I think I might need to put that Zeta on her leader ability.
I would say you could test her out in Galactic War, but you can just auto the whole thing in 8 minutes,
Yeah, Galactic War is not really a good barometer. Again, I think that, that's pretty disappointing for a first match. But I'm saying, again, my BB-8
Well,
needs to be a little bit higher.
it appears the Sith are also a decent counter to Rey.
Yeah, yeah.
So all of you guys out there that are hanging on to your Darth Mauls, you're in luck. I
Yeah,
have no idea. Don't take that to the bank. I have no idea.
but I mean, either way, it's. I mean, she's pretty interesting. I mean, let's take her into Galactic War for a minute and just kind of mess around with her a little bit. Okay, maybe Rey with Poe and.
Well, since you haven't zated her lead, and you zated Insight, well, I guess you're not going to need it for Galactic War. So, I mean, you don't need that health and protection regain for Galactic War, but I like her under an old Ben lead as like a budget build without requiring the Zeta for lead. I like that a lot. I like Resistance Trooper mixed up in there too, because you put that Zeta on BB-8 and it's going to call Resistance Trooper a chance to call him to assist, and he can add another expose. There's all sorts of little cool things I want to try out. Because if you really pimp her out with all the Zetas, once like a character is exposed, every time a Resistance uses, I think it's using a special ability, it's going to suck turn meter away from anybody that's exposed. So you start stacking exposes, you pretty much stun locked, a character or two on the other side. They'll never get to go.
Well, let's take a look here because I have another Zeta I'm going to put on her at some point. So I don't know whether I should put the Zeta on her leader right now or maybe the other ability. But if I'm going to run her as a lead, I mean, I think that's probably the way I'm going to have to go.
Well, again, man, she's been out for one day. Like, what if you Zeta her lead, and then like 3 days from now, somebody figures out some just ridiculous comp with her in the background as like a support character? Then that Zeta's kind of, I would sit on it at least for 2 or 3 days. I know it's tough. I mean, I'm the king of, I'd never have spare Zetas. I still need one more, and my Night Sisters are completely done.
Okay, so her one debuff Victorious Protector gives, when Rey suffers a debuff, she has 40% chance to dispel all debuffs on herself, which is.
I would do that one last, if at all.
That's last, yeah. When a Resistance ally uses a special ability, all exposed enemies lose 5% turn meter, which can't be evaded or resisted. When a Resistance ally uses a special ability, if they aren't debuffed, reduce their cooldowns by 1.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. You can kind of stun lock the team. Anybody that gets resist, like you kind of leave the exposes on them. Don't mess with them, and that way every time your Resistance characters use a special ability, they're just going to suck turn meter down from them. Especially if you can stack them. Like if you use like R2 and Poe, that's like back-to-back AOE exposes. If Poe goes second, then they'll stack, and you get 2 exposes. So every time somebody uses a special ability, a Resistance ally uses a special ability, they just instantly take 10% turn meter away from those characters with 2 exposes on them, which doesn't sound like a lot, but I mean, as often as Rey is going to be going, and these other Resistance allies are going to be going, it's going to add up. I'm interested to see. I haven't fooled around with it, but it'll be interesting to see how her lead mechanic works with the old Rey. Because that big move she has is like 4 little attacks. So will that like expose, pop, expose, pop, expose, pop, or will it just like after it's all done, will it stack exposes? I'm not sure how that's going to work. Either way is cool, but it's just different.
Yeah, I'm wondering how well her lead will work. Because I mean, again, you have to use. It only works for Resistance, right? So it's only going to be beneficial for, let's say, arena, or maybe for light side territory battles or TW. Really pretty much. I mean, I mean, but that's a lot of different game modes. I mean, you could use it for. So I don't know. I wonder how well it'll help in a raid. Do you think that leader ability would help you get more damage in a raid?
Hmm. I don't know. Like that's I don't know. I don't know if it's the good thing about the lead is that the turn meter gain that you'll be getting or taking away is much more manageable than Finn. Like when you use Finn, next time you use Finn, notice how much turn meter you just waste. You know, like your characters will have 80% turn meter and they get 35% more. You basically just threw 15% turn meter in the trash.
Mm-hmm.
You know, under raid lead, you will get you will get to use all of your turn meter gain or turn meter take away. It's easier to manage and you'll get all of the benefit of it. So I'm not sure. I've already built that tank team. I don't see myself really even worrying about anything else anymore. I'm just going to roll with that and get what I get. You know, because then I can just mod up 5 characters only for the raid, and I have to mod up 3 or 4 different teams.
It's true. So what does this do? Okay, dispel old buffs. Flexibility block. These.
You know, I was disappointed when I couldn't use the clones anymore because I had invested a Zeta in it. But at the same time, it was kind of nice to pull all those, some of my better mods, especially the offense secondaries that were on those clones. I could pull them off and put them on other characters. So that was nice. It actually helped a lot. It was like a double benefit. You get a higher raid score and you get to pull off the mods of a team or two. Put them on more like dark side territory battle or territory war oriented comps. Oh, it sucks, man. I'm gonna have to gear up my old bin. I've been putting it off for so long. I haven't needed it really yet. And now the two of them seem to pair really well. Old bin and Ray. I tell you what, that healing immunity she does, that's going to be gross. I mean, that's like a direct counter to Barris, direct counter to these Night Sisters, especially Asajj, because Asajj has that 55% health steal. You put that healing immunity on her that can't be removed for 2 turns. That will really slow her down big time.
Let's see if I can pull this one out. The problem is, with Han does so much damage. Man. Jesus. Damn it. Yep. R2D2 versus CLS. It's not happening. Yeah, I can't.
Did you put mods on Ray?
No, I didn't put mods on her yet. Yeah, that could be a good reason why I'm not doing so well. Yeah, that's probably exactly what happened. I thought I modded her already. That's pretty stupid. Well, I'm gonna mod her up later anyway. I was planning on doing the. I was planning on taking Ahsoka Tano's mods and giving them to her because that'll get her to about 100+ speed. So I'll take Fulcrum's mods and give them to her. But do we have any questions in the chat?
Not really, man. Not too many questions tonight. It's been a lot of stuff got deleted. I mean, we had 3 or 4 guys come here and try to be real funny guys and drop spoilers about the movie.
Yeah, I know that's kind of disappointing. Sorry about that, guys, but
Well, this is I haven't seen the movie yet. I had to delete these comments. That really sucks.
Well, you don't know whether it's true or not. People sometimes just.
Well, I mean, 4 people type the exact same thing. We'll see. Hopefully you're right.
Yeah. All right. If you guys don't have any questions you'd like asked, we're going to go ahead and bring the stream to a close here. Do you have any final comments or any last minute shout outs you want to have here? We have Master Goku in the chat. Master Goku, boo.
Yes.
Boo. Leave. All right.
Well, we did the top 5 Omegas tonight, and as a newer player, they'll tend to stack up as your characters won't be high enough to use them. But you really need to value these Omegas and make wise decisions with them, because you are going to run out. Whether you're free to play, pay to play, doesn't matter. You're old. Once you reach a certain level, you're never gonna be able to keep up with the Omegas that you want to have. So you really need to make wise decisions with your Omegas, just like you do your Zetas. Because there's hundreds of choices for them. Every character's got 2 or 3 Omega abilities you can choose from. So just before you spend any ask in the chats, ask your guildmates, watch the streams here, hop on our Alliance Discord, ask questions. We got a game discussion and help section there. Just always ask if you're unsure where to put them. And more veteran players that have made mistakes in the past, that have these Omegas can tell you a little more about them, so you make wise decisions. It's real important. Omegas and Zetas are the only thing in this game you cannot buy with money. For the most part, they have those Omega packs every once in a while, but you can't buy your way out of bad decisions with them like you can with some other stuff. So,
and you're going to
be very, very careful with them.
You're going to make mistakes either way. So I mean, it's part of the game. I mean, you're going to make investments in characters that you feel like later on maybe you shouldn't have. There's going to be characters that you invested in that that really didn't bear much fruit, that later on, because of a rework or something else, become viable characters or become essential characters. I mean, there's definitely times where I put, investments in the characters and then found out later on that I'm glad I did, because now they're actually an important character in the game, So, things work around. Things, work out. I mean, I had leveled up or kept my Kylo Ren leveled up for a long time. When his Zeta came out, he was now a viable character. I really didn't have to put much work into him because I already had him pretty much leveled up. So I mean, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? But it just depends. Certain characters you pay attention to, sometimes you don't. But I mean, it's if that's it, then as far as that goes, I appreciate everybody coming to check us out this week. I will have Ray, fully modded and ready to go next week. So we'll do a lot more, arena trials. I'm also going to have a video about Ray coming out this week, and I'll of course do a mastering the meta video on Ray as soon as possible as well. So we'll get that going. But if you guys want to come chat with us, we're going to be in Discord after the live show. I'm also going to put out that top 5 Dark Side Territory Battle Zetas tomorrow as well. That video will be on the channel also. So again, guys, definitely appreciate everybody coming down. Go to www.thealliancegaming.com and check out the other content creators for the Alliance, and also follow the instructions there into our Discord if you just want to come chat with us or want to join one of our Alliance guilds. So again, a lot of fun. Next week we'll have hopefully some cool new stuff to talk about. Maybe they'll release some new characters, or maybe they'll give us an update on some new things that are coming out right after the movie did. I have to imagine that since it's been kind of quiet this week with just the Ray event, I think there'll be something big to announce, or at least something big that comes out, maybe right after this Dark Side Territory battle. So we'll see. But thanks guys for checking it out. May the Force be with you guys, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care. Peace out.